What's going on, man? How you people doing out there in the real world, man? Uh, this is like, I guess a little blog or something. I'm just sitting here. It's a rainy day. I'm in my room just chilling, and I woke up this morning, man, with some like really profound thoughts, right? And over the last week, I've been noticing a little shift in my consciousness, right? Normally, I'm the type of individual, right? I'm real reclusive. I kind of like stay to myself, live in my head a lot, right? But a chain of events has happened a couple days ago that kind of like shifted my energy a little bit, right? So I'm gonna give you a little brief rundown of what went down, right? Well, I'm a type of guy, I go to work, I come back, I chill, may do a little bit of read, a little bit of meditation or something like that of that nature, right? And I get on the internet a lot, right? You know, the whole social media, like everybody else in the run of the mill of things. I flick down my pages, right? So I came across this video, right, of this female, right? I'm gonna call this female car, right, like a let's say a foreign car, right? This female, extremely attractive, right? So when I come across a video, and several videos, and mind you, I've been like following this female for like probably like a year or something, right? So I've been like tuning in and I've been tapping in, just analyzing sis, right? And I notice most of the time, right, she's like real aggressive, like she got like big energy, right? And so this specific one, I'm tuned in, and she just happened to be going at it with a few of her viewers, right? You know, people trolling her and everything. Now, this female is highly intelligent and really, really attractive, right? But what pulled me in actually was her mentality, right? Because this female, little brief background, she was a dancer, right? You know all the things that come with that, right? But this female has managed to go take that shift, right? To evolve. She has a good platform. She's taking her time laying her foundation, right? So I'm watching her though, like basically go to war with these trolls that's trolling her, right? And part of me is laughing, but then another part of me, my conscious, my higher self, right? It's a little area of concern, right? And the area of concern is the people like she actually going to war with is men, right? So I'm saying to myself, me being a man, of course, as you can see, right? I have a problem with that type of energy, right? Or that type of interaction, especially as being a male, because I'm like, as a man, you shouldn't really be arguing with a female, right? Regardless of what she's saying. And then you got to take into account that this individual's on social media, right? And she's basically just expressing her views and the philosophy that she used to govern herself, right? And then we live in America underneath the Constitution where we have freedom of speech, right? And then too, people like invading in her world. So I'm like tripping off of sis, right? My sci-fi mind, I'm looking at her like, yo, she's in her little gaming chair. I'm like, yo, sis is on a spaceship, right? But on a deeper level, what I really looked at it is she's by herself in her spaceship, and aliens or something foreign is trying to invade her space, right? So I'm saying, actually got to get me to thinking, right? Because this female, she's a millennium, right? And I was analyzing or doing some self-analyzation and viewing, like, because I live in an urban environment, right? And I noticed, right, like this is a big, big thing. I'm Generation X myself, right? But I notice it's like a big problem in the urban environment when dealing with relationships with or the interaction between the opposite sex, you know what I mean? And I notice a lot of black women are, it might come off like really aggressive or hostile towards black men, right? Now, there's two ways that you could look at this. Being a male, you could be emotional and deal with the situation, or look at it or view it from an irrational perspective, or you could approach it with logic and reason, right? So me, being a big Virgo, bang bang Virgo gang, right? We have a tendency of having an analytical mind. So I'm sitting here and I'm analyzing just the current situation in the urban environment between the sexes, right? And I notice a lot of these millennium sisters, right? They're like really hard on the men, right? And in some way, right? I'm looking at it like this is their time, right? Because if you look at it like as a pie, right? You have a splinter of your baby boomers. Then if you're dealing with 100%, right? They probably own like 5% of the pie, right? Next you have your Generation X. We own like probably like 35% of the pie, right? And if this pie I'm talking about is power, right? And influence in this world, right? The rest, or the lion's share of it, is the millenniums, right? So I'm analyzing this system. I'm like, yo, this is like a future leader, a goddess, like this, because she's like top tier as far as her prototype. Give you a rundown. You know the prototype, the Barbies, you know, the bad bees, right? You know, she's beautiful, tatted up, you know, does the wig things and things of that nature, right? Typical, but she wasn't a typical female due to her intellect, right? So I'm looking at the problem or the psychosis is going on in the urban environment, right? And I'm saying to myself, like, yo, like, we were really messed up as a collective and as a people, right? And I'm starting to see that a lot of these young guys, they just can't figure this shit out, right? In a sense of what's wrong with their woman, right? And the reality of it is a lot of these sisters, as far as the males too, a lot of brothers, right, dealing with generational trauma, right? So you gotta understand, right? These millennium sisters, right? They don't see they grandma go through trauma, for as a result of relationships. They don't see their mama, right? So now these younger Jones, right? They're intelligent, they're faster, they're stronger, right? They're the new breed. They're the new goddesses, the new queens, the new leaders, right? And they are strictly no fucking nonsense when it comes to they position in life. Like they know what they want because every generation has a collective vision that they're born with. And that vision is how they perceive the world and how they want to mold and shape the world and the positions and how they want to exist in this world, right? So, like prime example, I was talking to a guy, part of my generation, right? And he has a granddaughter, right? And and her man are constantly going through it, right? And you know, the guy, he, you know, part time, sometime working, he's not really chasing at a dollar, right? So the guy was like basically talking about his granddaughter, like, yo, she's crazy, she's boom, 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 boom. And I said, man, you gotta take into account that everything that she's been through and the females of her age bracket been through as a collective. Because for real, they're all the same. They're all one person. They're all one loaf. They're just different slices, but part of the same loaf as a collective, right? And I said, man, these females have been almost like left for dead. They've been abandoned, you know what I'm saying? And they've been through a lot of stuff. psychologically, right? And I was telling him like, yo, when you really look at it, right? I said, if you look at it as two sides of a coin, I said, what you have to do is you have to have or exert some type of empathy, and you have to put yourself or have the ability to put yourself in her shoes and see things from her perspective and not look at it from a Mill's perspective, because when you do that, you're going to naturally gravitate towards the dude. You see a dude, his chick is constantly fussing and arguing, and she's definitely dissatisfied, and she's 1 minute she's hugging and loving you, and the next minute she's like, get out, right? And I was explaining to him, right, when you look at it, by nature, she's doing what she's supposed to do, right? And this generation, they have a specific prototype or assist a specific program, right, that they go by. And this is a generation out of all the other, even Generation X, which are the originators of the hip hop culture and rap music and things of that nature. This generation was born in it, right? So the culture that produce is actually their way of life, right? So the prototype is, or how it is, it's not like back in the day. Back in the day, you could get with a sister, you ain't gotta have no bread, and y'all figure out a love, because the love vibe is a little bit more stronger. You could tell by the music, you know what I mean? Like, that's, you can't really contend with that, right? So it would be nothing for you to get with a sister and y'all get together and y'all work it out and y'all struggle through the social ills and things of that nature because you was riding off of love, right? And these newer ones, their way of life or their culture, their program is something totally different, right? Like, you have to already have the money. You have to already have the car. You have to already have things. Now, we could look at this as being, they're shallow, they're materialistic, they don't have no souls, they look good on the outside, but really ugly on the inside. Or you could look at it for what it really is, right? This is their program, this is their time, and this is their way of life. And this is produced, these acts are to bring about other acts, right? And when you really look at it, is these millennial females, they already know that they're special. They are born royals. So the females, they automatically expect like, yo, yeah, because this is the things that I'm supposed to have by nature. This is what they understand. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's their birthright, right? Now, on the counter side of that with the mills, right? Because I catch a lot of videos and like TikTok and things of that nature, and I hear a lot of females express this as well as men, right? And they're actually saying like, yo, a broke man is not supposed to have a woman, right? A broke man is not supposed to have a woman until you have certain things, right? And in the beginning, I didn't quite agree with that, but putting that underneath the analytical microscope, I now subscribe to that, and I'm gonna tell you why. The process of going inside yourself, cultivating your God-given talents and what's inside of you, right? And then having the discipline to refrain from sex, right? What that does is that levels up your nature, right? And it separates you from the animals. You see what I'm saying? And that type of discipline, if you study royals from ancient times, they subscribe to that type of discipline. They would call it initiation, rites of passage, and things of that nature, right? And then when you go through those levels and when you elevate on those levels, that's when you become a royal, and that's when you have the things that you're supposed to have. That's when you marry your queen, marry your goddess, and so on, right? So, in saying that, I was telling this individual, I was like, when you really look at it in that aspect, your granddaughter's actually right. What she's basically doing is setting a fire underneath this dude's ass, and hopefully he'll get tired of it, because men's psychology is Men really don't like for women to be over top of them in an authoritative position, right? So her doing this, right, or her female nature, her doing this, something is supposed to ignite and spark within inside of him, like even if he's on a lower level savage, like, yo, man, I ain't gonna let this chick keep talking to me crazy out the side of her fucking neck. Man, I'm about to get on top of my shit, right? But when you really look at it, that's a igniting, that's that spark. You see what I'm saying? And then that's when his journey begins, right? Now, with both sexes have to realize that this is a program, this is a culture, this is a mechanism that was placed inside of their nature. And once they grasp a full understanding of that, then they will understand that it's just a way of life for them. And for them, the key is for them not to become bitter, cold, and scarred. And I see a lot of them succumb to that when they're on their journeys, or being what they're supposed to be by nature. A lot of them are becoming cold hearted. And then that's a whole nother subject matter, and that's a whole nother issue, right? That I don't really feel like expounding on right now or going that deep, right? So let's go back to the sister called Cara, right? So this sister, right? Like I said, I've been studying her for like a year, right? So I'm viewing her page, and I notice she has email on her joint. So I take a shot in the dark, right? And only because I actually like me studying her for like a year, I actually wanted experience from her, right? But I wanted a connection. I wanted an experience on an intellectual level. Like I wanted to see like what was her inner thoughts, what was her vibe, what was her energy, uh, what exudes from her nature, right? So what I did was I took a shot, and I emailed her, and I came up with something. I was like, yo, I got some information about you, boom, 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 boom. I'm a empath. I do mental tattoos and things of that nature, right? And I received some downloads of some information about you, right? So I guess I sparked her curiosity, right? And she shot back at me, right? And I shot some information at her, not to go into that's her own personal information, right? But and so we got back and forth. Where I know she had her security up. She was guarded, she her boundaries and things of that nature, right? So the funny thing is, right? I asked her for a number, right? Because I really wanted to talk. I wanted to go beyond the text and then all that, right? And she was like, no, right? She was like, I don't know you, which I understand because it's a lot of creeps out there in the world, right? So what I did was I shot my number, right? And I was like, like hit the boy up, right? And she called me, right? And me and this sister wound up talking for 7 hours straight, man. And when I tell you I was taken back, I was flabbergasted, I was like, yo, how intelligent this Joan was, man, how advanced she was, how strong she was, how much she had self-presence and knew what she wanted, had me re-looking at myself. Like since the conversation, I've been like in a daze. Like I keep going back to a page and I'm like really like zoning off of this. I'm like, damn, right? And I basically, man, you young bulls is messing up, man. Y'all have some great women, man. Y'all need to tap into that energy, man, and not fight these females, man, but use them as what they was put here by nature, is to motivate you, man, help you become a man, to make you want to become great, because y'all have some great females, man. You know what I'm saying? And for you females, right? y'all have to y'all have to not forget your nurturing mother nature, right? But at the same time, I understand you got a lot of people that prey on that, right? So I know y'all gotta have y'all demeanor up, y'all gotta have y'all shields up, and sometimes y'all gotta be Athena, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. I understand that, but what I would like to say to y'all is, when good dudes come in y'all midst, right? Connect with that, man. Because here's the thing, not every guy wants to just have sex with you, right? Not every guy wants to use you, right? Some individuals out here just want a connection because that's what we supposed to do on this earth, right? And that's how we grow, and that's how we strengthen our spirit, right? And y'all need to be more conscious and more aware of these individuals when they come into your life, because sometimes it's a blessing, even if it's nothing more, even if a person might not have nothing physically to offer you, right? Just that interaction between the opposite sex, especially if it's a positive vibe and positive energy, man, that's nourishment for the soul. And that's needed, especially amongst African Americans, man. You know how I'm saying? So with that being said, man, I just wanted to like share that video, man. I just wanted to, pardon me, I wanted to make this video and I wanted to share it with you know, with the people, man. And I think I'm just gonna go back in, like I said before, it's a rainy day. I'm just sitting here, I'm just chilling. I think I'm just gonna just go back and just continue on vibing, man. And until the next time, man, y'all keep your head up, man. This is a beautiful world with a lot of beautiful people, man. Just make sure y'all got your blinders open and y'all can acknowledge and see these people, man. So y'all have a beautiful day, man, or the remainder of the day. Peace.